Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of San Jose. I'm the Reverend Susan Panttanja. I'm the minister for the Napa Valley Unitarian Universalists, and I have the great honor of sharing worship with you this morning. I invite you now into this time of worship with words by Bran Lennox. We have chosen to bring ourselves here to this sanctuary to gather as a community of faith. We join together in solidarity as a covenanted people who are drawn by the promise of connection and the mysterious pull of the unanswerable. We draw on experiences of love and wonder to lift our hearts and move us beyond the mundane. As seekers, wanderers, appreciators of nature, connoisseurs of curiosity, and creators of connection, our paths have converged today so that we might become present to the spirit that is worship. And so, let us worship together. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
starting out a little rocky this morning. Reverend Matthew said he had printed the orders of service, but he neglected to say where he left them. And we don't quite know how to use the printer well enough to get full-size font and right side up. And we figured you folks could be flexible. And when we miss the mark, we begin again in love. So if you would like to say the chalice lighting words with me, Fee was going to light the, there you are. Fee will light the candle. Remember, oh no, the first order of service had the phrases mixed up, but we have it right on the one that every other one of you may be holding. So if you'd like to say the words, you may. We're just candles for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of service. And those who are on Zoom may light the candle in your heart or your chalice. And you can write in the chat where you are today, if you like. Now, during this time when our country has initiated a war on another country, we light a candle for peace for all those experiencing the horrors of war. We recognize that violence serves only to create more violence, war, and generational hatred. Justice is at the core of our faith. Love is at the center of our values. May the light of this candle remind us of our call to bring justice and love to our community and to the world. And as a side note, Brian and I had dinner at a Persian restaurant over in Sunnyvale yesterday, and it was wonderful to see that they are doing good business. And the mood was not somber. So, our land acknowledgement. We light this candle in recognition of the Tamian and Muwekma Ohlone indigenous peoples, who were the first humans to inhabit and steward this land thousands of years before settler colonizers arrived. We honor the resilience of these indigenous peoples in the face of devastating harm. And we financially support the Muwekma Preservation Foundation and the Amamutsan Land Trust. We continue to support the integrity of the entire Eurostag tribal cultural landscape alongside the Amamutsan tribal band. Thank you. Please join me in saying the affirmation of our congregation. You should find it on the screen or in the order of service, if you can see it. It's also inscribed in many of our hearts. We say it in English and Spanish as a symbol of the many languages spoken in this community and beyond, the many languages of the soul. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls may grow into harmony with the divine. This do we covenant with one another. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es su oración. Habitar juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y servir a la humanidad juntos, con el fin de que todas las almas puedan crecer en armonía con lo divino. Esto es lo que pactamos unos con otros. Thank you. So I now say good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of San Jose. I'm Marnie Singer, worship associate for today. I identify as non-binary, but she pronouns feel most comfortable to me. Today I'm wearing a jacket I made a number of years ago for my daughter's wedding. As Unitarian Universalists, we are united not by our beliefs, but by our values, as represented in the banners that now hang here. We come together in valuing equity, justice, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and interdependence, much more important, with love at the center. We strive to live from these core values, and we also try to notice when we have missed the mark and then learn from our mistakes and begin again in love. We aspire to welcome all diversities among us, physical, mental, psychological, spiritual beliefs. When all are included, we learn from each other. I find that when we together acknowledge our differences, we feel more connected. And now, let those of us in the sanctuary connect with the people joining us on Zoom. Looking at the screen, we may see their names or faces, and when the camera, which is up there, is aiming at us, we can wave to our Zoomy friends. We are connected. This is always such a tricky thing. It never quite connects us the way I'd like to. But I love looking out at the way people wave. There we go. We have a good Zoom community. At the end of the service, people online are invited to unmute and stay for informal conversation. Can't share coffee, but they can get their own. From the sanctuary, we go through those double doors to your right, to our social hour for snacks, beverages, information tables, and conversation. The first time you go might be a little daunting, or the fifth, but we invite you to join us. There are some announcements in the order of service, if you can see them, or they're also in the weekly email. I want to highlight just three. If you're new or newish to the church, you're invited to an informal light lunch on May 17th after the service, where you can learn more about the church and things that are happening here. You can RSVP today at the visitors table during coffee hour, or send an email, as the announcement says. My friend Brian Shaner has asked me to underscore the invitation for people who don't have to work during the day on Tuesday, May 19th, to join other church folks to see the San Jose Giants play the Stockton Ports. The particulars are in the order of service, or you can talk directly with Brian at the welcome table during social hour. And next Sunday is our annual flower communion. We used to have flower communion on Easter, but now we're doing it for Mother's Day. If you could remember in time, please bring a cut flower or two. We always have extras for anyone who arrives without a flower. Once again, welcome. It's good to be together. Wherever you are on your faith journey, I hope you will find something here that feeds your spirit. Now, I had thought Fee might introduce Reverend Susan, but since they have a close relationship, or that's not a but. I had thought since they have a relationship, Fee might introduce Susan, but Fee asked me to do it. I've really enjoyed getting to know Reverend Susan in preparation for this service. As she said, she's serving the Napa Valley Unitarian Universalists. She's been there since 2022, has been a UU just 25 years, a third of the amount of time I have. She came to ministry after a 30-year career as a geologist in the environmental consulting world. She and I both have Masters of Divinity from Star King School for the Ministry, but she went ahead for ordination and active ministry. Reverend Susan's understanding of earth history and love of the natural world inform her theology. For her, scientific knowledge and spiritual experience coexist and enhance each other. And now, for the people who are young of heart, young of knee, young of years, can join on the labyrinth. You want to be up close to see this experiment for all ages. So come on down.
Hello? Okay, perfect. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marissa, and I am the Director of Religious Education. So we have an experiment bought by Rev Susan, thank you, and it's called The Ocean Moves a Mountain. Did you know that the ocean can move mountains? Well, I'm here to tell you that they can. And who here has been to the beach? Shout a beach, your favorite one. Goleta Beach. Where's that one at? Oh, that's a new one. I've never heard of that one. Thank you for sharing. So pretend you're in that beach. Sorry. So basically this experiment is what happens to you when you're at the beach. Maybe you felt it when a wave around your ankles comes up. Maybe the water felt kind of prickly or stingy. That was tiny little sand grains. So here's tiny little sand grains carried by the waves, hitting your skin, or maybe the wave carried away some of the sand from your feet. Well, those sand grains had to come from somewhere, right? Where do you think they came from? Anybody? Mountains, cliffs, hills, outcrops. They were all carried away by the energy of the ocean. Did you guys know ocean waves carry energy? The energy to push water onto you, to knock you over even. And waves have energy to move grains of sand, pebbles, and even big rocks sometimes. I definitely wouldn't want to swim in water that moves big rocks. So do you guys see the cylinder? Can someone tell me what's inside the cylinder? Yes, sand and water. When I move my body, I'm using energy, right? Now, when I steer the water in this cylinder, I transfer my energy and give the energy to the water. So I'm going to steer this water, but I'm not going to touch the sand. I'm just going to move the water into a circle. Yes, Matthias? Ooh. Would you like to do the honors of mixing the water? But you cannot touch the sand. Only the water has to steer. So Matthias is going to send his energy to the water, and you're going to watch as the sand begins to move. So as the water picks up more energy, can someone tell me what's happening? Yes, momentum transformation. So it's lifting the sand. Now, if you were to put your hand in there, you might feel some of it hit your skin. Leo, do you want to put your hand inside? Keep mixing. All that water energy and all those sand grains do a lot of important work. When the waves and sand crash against the cliff, they actually wear it away. It happens over a really long time, not weeks or years, but centuries and thousands of years. Do you feel it, Leo? Do you want to mix it again, Matthias? Sometimes the surface gets polished and sometimes it gets cracked, so that every now and then a big piece of the cliff falls away into the ocean. So we can learn a lot about patience and persistence from ocean waves. maybe if the ocean can move mountains, we can make big changes in our world too.
So,
Yes.
so we just pretend this is a mountain here, right?
Yes.
So if I'm just gonna move the sand a little bit, so you can see. So this is our mountain, right? And when you move it, chunks of the mountain will, by the rain, it will break them apart, and by like ice, it will like push each chunk apart till it becomes small, and that's literally every little grain of sand you see here is pretty much mountains.
Thank you, Matthias, and thank you, Rev Susan. And that is our story for all ages. And now we will begin with the children's blessing.
I grew up in a Unitarian church. Do we have the, now we do. I grew up in a Unitarian church. This was before Sputnik. We did not have science in our elementary school. But third grade was my favorite Sunday school year because some of the fathers who were PhD research chemists at DuPont gave us science at the third grade level. It was most fun. And it stuck with me. And I tried to connect with my third grade and up Sunday school friends, and finally got hold of one, but not in time for me to really get his memories about it. So, for the offering, we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig. This is as it should be, so long as we dig and plant for those who come after us. This church is here because of the offerings of generations before us. Let us invest in the future with this morning's offering. Whether you are on Zoom or in the sanctuary, you can donate electronically, and a slide on the screen should give you what you need to know. We pass the plates in the sanctuary for those who give coins and things that fold. Please give what you can, and remember, if your presence among us is all you can give today, that's enough. You are enough. I put the to the work of the church, which is making love visible in all we say and do, we dedicate ourselves and these offerings. And if you're looking for a way to share some of your time with the church, I think we still need more greeters and ushers, whatever you want to call them. Once or twice a month, we offer a time for a few of us to share our biggest personal joys and sorrows. To light a candle, please come, form a short line to your right. Light your candle while the person ahead of you is speaking, and then step forward to say your name and your brief, tender headline. I'll hold the mic. After the service, anyone can stop by the pastoral care table in Hattie Porter Hall, where you can write in our book of joys and sorrows, or talk to Dina, our pastoral associate of the week. You can also, anytime, email pastoralassociates@sanjoseuu.org. Remember, you are not alone. You need not be alone. While people are coming up, let me say there are both great sorrows and great joys in our world that must be acknowledged. We light our first candle to honor those in pain, victims of violence, war, and oppression all around our world. We light a second candle because we understand that amidst all of that pain, there is also joy. We honor that joy and sorrow are woven together.
Please join me in the spirit of prayer or contemplation. Spirit of life and love, we hold in our hearts those in this community who are sick, recovering from surgeries, or grieving, or concerned about loved ones, and for all those who are in need. May we be a resource of compassionate care for each other. We also hold in our hearts those who feel joyful today, for those who have traveled, for our young people, for their growing and their expressing themselves in the world. May they and we all know that we are enough. May we remember that being joyful is an act of resistance in these challenging times. May we embrace the goodness in our lives and determine to spread joy in all the ways we can, not as a means of avoiding the challenges of life, but as a reminder of all that we are working for. We lament the lack of basic human rights and dignity for so many in this country and abroad. And pray that we can have some agency about things that are happening in this country. May we find strength enough to offer care and understanding to each other in these troubled times. May we find courage enough to offer support to those who are most impacted by these injustices and to do all we can for them. Dear weavers of the interdependent web, let us remember that what affects one affects all, and let us rededicate ourselves to doing our part to repair the world. May it be so. Amen. And now I invite you, you may remain seated, but let's go ahead and sing hymn number 398, To See the World in a Grain of Sand. You want to do it one time or two times? Let's do it twice.
I love this poem that Susan selected so much it feels like I could have written it. Lost and Found. On my sophomore science field trip to the rocky Maine coast, I sat captivated by a tidal pool. A little village of crawling crabs, snails, starfish darting, a sea anemone appearing to sing. I stayed so long I forgot the rising tide. My teachers, classmates waiting on the bus. On the exam, I couldn't calculate the pitch of the waves or chemical composition of anything, but I knew how to lose myself in the world of tiny, shifting things.
On a sleepy, endless ocean, when the world lay in a dream, there was rhythm in the splash and roll, but not a voice to sing. So the moon fell on the breakers, and the morning warmed the waves, till a single cell did jump and hum for joy, as though to say, this is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Then the day shone bright and rounder, till one turned into two, and the two into 10,000 things, and old things into new. And on some virgin beachhead, one lonesome critter crawled, and he looked about and shouted out in his most astonished drawl, this is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Then all the sky was buzzing, and the ground was carpet green, and the weary children of the woods went dancing in between. And the people sang rejoicing when the fields were glad with grain, this song of celebration from their cities on the plain. This is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Now there's smoke across the harbor, and there's factories on the shore, and the world is ill with greed and will and enterprise of war. But I will lay my burdens in the cradle of your grace, and the shining beaches of your love, and the sea of your embrace. This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you so much for letting me sing with you. That was gorgeous. And thank you all for having me. It has been such a lovely journey preparing this service for you all. It's been wonderful working with Marnie. And as you know, Fee and I are quite close and have been for a very long time, and I am grateful to be wearing the gorgeous stole that they made for me. Come with me for a moment to the beach. Bodega Head Beach, to be exact. If you haven't been there before, picture this. It's a wide beach isolated by low gray cliffs, topped with vegetation on the north and east sides. On this particular day I'm thinking of, it is cloudy with only a light breeze, a perfect beach day if you ask me. I'm with a half dozen community college students that I've brought there to teach about the local geology. We begin our visit to this beach by examining and drawing the rocks exposed at the north end of the beach. They're crystalline igneous rocks called diorite, topped by coarse sedimentary rocks called conglomerate. We have also visualized where the San Andreas Fault cuts through the landscape just east of us. As a community college geology instructor, I knew that most of my students took my class grudgingly to fill a science requirement. For many, this would be the last science class they would ever take. Now, occasionally, someone might find their calling to become a geologist themselves in my class, as I did in my freshman geology class in college many decades ago. But this wasn't the goal. Rather, my mission was to get them to simply think about the earth in a new way, to engage their curiosity about the world around them. Sometimes that meant helping an artist think about natural materials in the pigments they used. Sometimes it meant explaining where students' water came from, so that maybe they could be a little more socially and civically engaged. Sometimes it meant inviting them to look at a familiar thing from a new perspective. So on the beach, I encourage these students to examine the sand. They scoop up handfuls and train their magnifying lenses on that tiny world in their palms. They adjust the lens for the right focus and for the right lighting. What do you see, I ask? They silently scrutinize their hands. Do any minerals look familiar? Slowly, they start to offer suggestions based on what they'd learned during the semester. Quartz? Feldspar? Biotite? Yes, yes to all, I say, and then ask, where might they have come from? Someone offers, the rocks in the cliff? Aha. The rocks in the cliff were eroded to form the sand on the beach. You already heard about that, right? During our Time for All Ages. The waves the energy of the waves caused that erosion process. But there's another component in the sand that no one has mentioned yet. So I ask, now, what are those blue grains? Blue grains. Sea glass, they venture? Plastic bits? Lapis? Let's try an experiment, I say. I pull out the small container of hydrochloric acid that I keep in my tool bag. Some of them recall using hydrochloric acid in the school laboratory. When dropped onto minerals that are composed of calcium carbonate, like the things that make up limestone and marble, there's an instant chemical reaction that releases tiny bubbles of CO2. Sure enough, our mystery grains fizz instantly. So what could they be? Think about what you've seen on the beach today, I said. Eventually, it dawns on someone. Could they be bits of mussel shells? Yes, I say, mussel shells, like the ones we've seen in the nearby tide pools. Very cool. Now, our next stop was Shell Beach, just up the road a few miles. It didn't take any prompting for the students to note that the sand composition was quite different than at Bodega Head. They plopped down on some rocks, whipped out their hand lenses, and gave their attention to the earth. They had found their curiosity. Now, my own curiosity for the world was fostered by my father. Dad was an artist and an observer. For him, every walk revealed something new and interesting. Light playing on the water, a cat half hidden under a bush, a blue feather from a Steller's jay. Dad demonstrated what the 19th century American naturalist John Burroughs meant when he wrote, "To learn something new, take the path that you took yesterday." I love that. To learn something new, take the path that you took yesterday. One of my favorite memories of my father was a trip to the Steinhardt Aquarium with my Brownie troop. I was very little. While everyone else raced ahead, Dad and I lingered at the tide pool exhibit, where the anemones opened and closed in response to the water level. After he answered my questions, he just stood there with me as we both watched in silent awe. It was marvelous. Now, the world of an 8-year-old before the advent of personal computers is a far cry from the modern world, isn't it? These days, we're inundated with information coming at us 24/7 through myriad devices in our houses, cars, pockets, and attached to our bodies. On the one hand, these devices can give us answers to all kinds of things we're curious about, right? I am so grateful for the apps that help me identify plants and animals when I'm out taking hikes, and videos that show me how to fix a leaky faucet or bake baguettes, right? At the same time, though, technology has modified the way I think so that I feel the pull to check messages more often than I need to. There's a sense in our society that we need to constantly be online, constantly be engaged with everything from what our friends are doing to politics to all the apps that are supposed to help us relax and be healthy, which somehow seem to do the opposite sometimes. Now, maybe for you, that pace works, but for me, it can be absolutely overwhelming. It feels like a luxury then to focus attention on something other than a screen and for more than a few minutes of uninterrupted time. Author Pico Iyer writes, "More and more of us feel like emergency room physicians, permanently on call, required to heal ourselves but unable to find the prescription for all the clutter on our desks." He says that there is no time for discovery in a busy schedule. And he suggests that the antidote is to make time to slow down and pay attention to the world immediately around us. Now, for me, the surest way to do that is to take a walk. Whether I am walking a familiar path in my neighborhood or ambling down a trail that I've never been on before, walking is my excuse to silence my phone and take in the scenery. Now, sometimes when I'm walking, what I notice first is what's in my own mind. And I use some of that time to write sermons, to work out problems, and retell my own story. It's actually time well spent. But eventually, and every time, some exterior thing breaks through my thoughts and brings me right into the present moment. It could be the scent of honeysuckle, or a squirrel darting up the trunk of an oak tree, or an unfamiliar bird call. Sometimes I will myself into paying attention like that by reciting a favorite poem, usually E.E. Cummings' "I Thank You, God, for most." I say it every day. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day. There it is. That poem ends with two phrases that are so important to me. It says, "Now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are opened." I can't help paying attention after that. It's an invocation and a commitment to look around at the world. And every time I do, I am back in my body again, which is to say that I am aware of my place in this vast and glorious organism that is Earth, which is to say, I am home. And from this place, attention and curiosity bubble up. I see the familiar with new eyes, and I am surprised and delighted every time. Pico Iyer says that the art of curiosity is the art of taking nothing for granted. To do this, we must set aside judgment and certainty, instead facing each moment with humility and a sense of wonder. Now, as a scientist, I get this. Scientific inquiry is all about being curious and humble and taking nothing for granted. It means setting aside preconceived ideas to see what the observations and data are pointing to. It means really following that curious impulse, that questioning. Now, I no longer teach geology, except to my family or anybody who's near when I see something cool, okay? But I do tutor children at a learning center near my home. And while the expectation is that the students will improve their math and reading skills, my job really is to help students discover the joy and discipline of learning for themselves. And I find that I am able to help them succeed the most when I am curious about them. When I try and understand their personalities, kind of open up to their personalities and their particular learning styles. They have shown me that attention to another is a powerful gift. It's a powerful gift to be attentive and curious about others. So, what if we approached everyone with attention and gentle curiosity. Rather than meeting others as we think they are or should be, why not meet other people as if we are excited to learn about them? Whether we are meeting someone for the first time or we've known them for years, it is so easy to take people for granted. So easy to assume we know more about them than we really do, based on their habits or appearance or the bumper sticker on their car. Yet if we approach them with curiosity and interest, with humility and even a sense of wonder, we will no doubt find that there is more to their story. And we may find out something new about ourselves as well. Now, I would argue that we Unitarian Universalists have a responsibility to meet each other with curiosity. Now, in 2024, the UU Association of Congregations adopted a set of shared values and covenants that describe how we UUs agreed to be with one another, and they were displayed up here in the sanctuary earlier today. The values are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all centered in love. The word curiosity is only used once in the description of those values. It is used in pluralism. And quoting from the UUA bylaws, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Yet, to my mind, curiosity is also woven into all the other values. Take, for example, transformation. How can we be open to change, which is fundamental to Unitarian Universalism through its entire history, if we are so certain of our beliefs that we never examine them? If we are people of the open mind, then we must let in new ideas and see how they fit us. We must also accept that our companions on the search for truth and meaning may see things completely differently than we do, right? So curiosity is inherently Unitarian Universalist, a trait to be cultivated, a tool to help us bring about heaven on earth. So how do we open ourselves to curiosity? How do we carve out space in our brain-cluttered lives to pay attention to the world as it is? You may already have a practice that helps you do this. It doesn't need to take long, maybe 20 minutes every morning or 5 minutes here and there throughout the day. Even that short time can have an eternity in it. The important thing is to turn off the phone and the news and to simply be present with what is. You might take a walk or read poetry, as I do. Or you might sit with your coffee on the front porch, watching the world go by. Or take your dog to the dog park. Or do something creative like doodling or making soup. Or contemplate art or the bees in your garden. Have a conversation that involves few devices. I have to admit, I've had some very good Zoom conversations. They were actually very deep, right? And we are blessed by that kind of interconnection. However, when we whip out our phones while we're trying to have a conversation with my husband, I never do that, but when I do, it's not that moment of presence. Anything that helps us feel our connection to the earth, to this time and place, and to each other is precious and make space for curiosity. So when you go back to the busyness of your life after having this moment of time, don't be surprised if you bring attention and curiosity with you. It just might help you through the next news cycle. And so, as we spend this time together, this time being present, I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to breathe, to look around you, to feel the weight of your body in the chair, to feel your breath, to sense the beauty of the connection that we make here. And in that space, I invite you to bring that sense of gentle curiosity, to set aside the certainty, to set aside preconceived notions of what it is that is here, who is here. Open yourselves to each other with some gentle and loving curiosity. I don't mean prying. I never mean prying. But notice what is offered to you. Notice what we offer to each other and what this beautiful earth offers us as well. May you find moments of quiet presence that bring you back to the sacred ground of this earth. May you bring curiosity and love to your surroundings, those you meet along the way, and even everything you think you know. And may you find moments of wow wherever you go. May it be so. Amen. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 1052, The Oneness of Everything. And we are just going to sing the first two verses. Past the reaches of the mind. So please join hands for the benediction. Join hands or touch elbows or do whatever feels good to you. And once again, look around the room and see who is here with you today. And think of those whose spirit is also in this room. All those who are on Zoom with us, and all those in our many, many circles of community. And I offer these words by Elaine Gehrman. May we tread softly, speak truthfully, love gently, breathe deeply, live wisely, make room for curiosity, and go in peace. Amen. Sure. Let's do. Leave these here.
Yeah, really. I appreciate that you sat close here. I love hearing your voice.